What up, good people? Welcome back into the Full Coverage Football Show. My name is Jeremy. That's my boy Drew at Detroit Dave 7 on the Twitterverse. Brother, how you doing tonight?
I'm great, man. Good to be back. Good talking some football. Crunch time, baby. Crunch
It is.
time.
We are towards the playoffs. Playoffs!
Yeah.
We got to
How
get
are
all
you doing, man?
screechy. Man, I can't complain. We got football to talk about. We're having a better week than Antonio Brown, kind of. I mean, don't have that
He's
wallet,
still richer
but
than us, so
yeah, I mean, that's about it. I'm going to change this real quick, see if that fixes my slow motion audio here, but we'll see. Anyway, it's good to get back in the show. Let's start right away. You know the show. This is the Full Coverage Football Show. Follow us on Twitter at SomervilleCLE, at Detroit Dave 7. We're going to get right into the show with some rumor roundup right off the bat. Let's start with rumor coming out today. Matt Nagy possibly out as the Bears head coach. Brother, are you shocked by this?
No,
Absolutely stunned.
we thought his ass was going to get fired in the middle of the season, and he probably should have. You kicking the shit out of the Chicago Bears or the New York Giants rather, does not do anything for Matt Nagy as coach of the Bears, right? It just doesn't. So it's that team's more talented than what they got out. In my opinion, I thought Matt Nagy did a terrible job of how he's kind of handled Justin Fields up until this point.
Everything. The amazing thing for Matt Nagy is the fact that his career record with the Bears is 34-30. He's got a winning record. He's 0-2 in the playoffs when it counts. He's got a winning record. But this was a guy they hired because he was innovative, because he was a hardworking guy from the Andy Reid tree. And he went, you know what? I'm all that. And now I'm not. He went like this, just dove off the cliff of innovation. We don't know what this guy is anymore. He's a joke at this point. And it's sad because I watched a game here where Justin Fields got his first start against Cleveland Browns. And I said Matt Nagy should have been arrested, trying to get him killed out there. Matt Nagy gone. Who do you like as the next head coach of the Chicago Bears? Put you on the spot.
I honestly don't know. This might be a rumor. I don't know. I mean, part of the rumor show segment here. But I know Jim Harbaugh's name has been mentioned. And for a couple different teams, including the Las Vegas Raiders, rather.
Yep.
So that's a possible hire. And then you look at kind of the other names that are floating around. I mean, that team would benefit from bringing in a Kellen Moore or a Byron Leftwich, like those other coordinators. They need to bring in an offensive-minded guy. And I know you can say, oh, well, look at Matt Nagy. Well, I get it, right? Just because he's an offense guy doesn't mean it's going to work, but you have to bring in somebody that's going to play to Justin Fields' strengths. And I think that's the main focus they have to have. Think of the roster itself. We think there's some talent on the outside with some of the receivers. I don't know if Allen Robinson's dead.
He'll probably
but
be gone
overall,
next year,
I do think
still
there's some. Well, that's true too. But I do think there's some talent. Of course, in the backfield, I think they have some pieces, and I just think that the way Justin Fields was used was terrible. I think Justin Fields is better than that. So I think first and foremost, you have to find a guy that you think is going to fit what's going to make Justin Fields the most successful.
100% with you on that. But do you think they bark up the Andy Reid tree again? Do they look at a guy like Eric Bieniemy, or do they stay far away from Andy Reid's tree?
No, no, you can't. I mean, listen. Belichick's had 160 coaches from his tree that have been terrible, and people keep going back to that tree.
And our teams have hired half of those guys.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks to us. But no, I think that and Eric Bieniemy, again, probably deserved a job in this past offseason. And so he's going to probably get an interview. I think that, again, he's a hot name coach. But what they definitely need to focus on is and maybe, what Eric Bieniemy wants to bring to the Chicago Bears will be beneficial to Justin Fields. But again, we'll see. But they're definitely going to go, in my opinion, the offensive route and kind of go from there. And I wouldn't see the only name out of nowhere that would shock me would be Harbaugh or like Ryan Day, right? Like, I think Harbaugh potentially could. And the reason I think Harbaugh potentially could is because I think what he did at Michigan this year isn't easily duplicated year in and year out. I just don't think it's there. Like the recruiting's not where Ohio State's at. I just think that, and I also think that the way they got their doors blown off, they kind of realized, even, with the great year they had, they were nowhere close to being able to compete for a college football playoff. And so it's like, if you kind of don't think you're going to be able to kind of get over that mark, and I just don't think it's attainable right now in Michigan, then I think you have to consider it, right? And I know he took a super pay cut, and maybe he's leaking information now to get leverage to get paid again. But why would he take a pay cut the year before and say, "Oh, well, I made it. Yeah, I won the Big Ten championship." But I do think that there potentially is reasoning to think that there might be some truth to the rumor. But I don't know. I mean, that would kind of surprise me. Him or like Ryan Day would surprise me. I don't think they're going to go the college route, right? I just don't think the Bears are going to do that.
I think a lot of teams stay away from the college route based on what happened with Urban Meyer this year. I think that's a reason to stay away, especially with a guy like Justin Fields, where you want this guy to develop. You need a guy to teach him the NFL way. Right. And as we're moving into Rumor Central, you already brought up, let's segue right into it, Jim Harbaugh. There's rumors that he's coming back into the NFL. NFL 49-27-1 record, including a Super Bowl run. He has a better playoff record in the NFL than he does in college. 119-51 in college. The guy, for all we make fun of him and how Michigan hasn't been good in years, he wins. He doesn't get you further than winning the main regular season usually. We've seen different in the NFL. But the guy wins, and he builds programs, but he wears people out usually. His extended run in Michigan, maybe he's finally wearing people out, and it's time to go. Do you believe that he leaves Michigan and comes to the NFL next year?
I don't. I don't. But if he did, I could see the reasoning behind it, right? Like that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like there's reasons to what I hinted at. Like I just don't know what they do to get to that next level on a consistent basis, right? This was 1 year, and I take nothing away from them. They're a good football team, right? But I just don't think this is something you can replicate year in and year out when you're going up against Ohio State's. And again, you see the talent gap that we saw in the college football playoff. So how far is up from here, right? Is he cool with just winning a Big Ten championship, or does he want to dip his toes in the NFL water and see if it's nice over there? I mean, I know his stint with the 49ers was great, but again, he wore the locker room out. And he was there for how many years was he there? 4 years?
4 years.
Yeah. So he's there 4 years, and he wore the locker room out by that. By that time, the nice part about college is the guys graduate, and then you get a whole new class to kind of, get on. But I just think at the pro level, but I also don't think he's going to go somewhere for super long term. So I don't see it.
The only reason I see him coming to the NFL is if it's a team that is ready to win, filled with veteran leadership, a team that he doesn't have to be there long to make his point, to build a franchise. Coming in the Bears, I think he needs to build too much with the young quarterback on offense. You're probably losing Allen Robinson. You're going to have a young core on offense. The defense is there. I think they're still building pieces on defense. Robert Quinn's played his ass off, another 18-sack season.
Awesome. Yep.
I mean, hell of a football player. Their corners are looking good. They got Thomas Graham, who's a young guy who's playing damn well. Looks like that defense can do something. On offense, however, that young offense, does he want to build that? Or does he want to go to a team like the Las Vegas Raiders, who seem to have that veteran leadership? Derek Carr finally really established himself as a solid quarterback in the NFL, continuing to grow. Does he go to a team like that instead if he comes out?
I mean, I think it would make sense for him, right? Does he really want to have to go and kind of turn things around completely? I think to your point with the Bears defense is always good. And I know that there's constant moving parts. And we know Khalil Mack got injured this year, but like you have to think that the defense is clearly the strength of the team at this point. So you walk in, and if he thinks that he's somebody that can turn an offense around and there's potential there, then maybe Chicago is a good spot. But to your point, I think if he had the opportunity, it's not like he has ties to Chicago, right?
Nope.
Like he would go, or he should, and take the best available job if he wants to pursue the NFL. And if that's what he wants to do, don't go to a team and get your ass fired, right? Like go to some place where it's somewhat set up and you don't have to come in and go 2-15 out of the gates. Like it's tough
still
to
weird
do
to hear
that
2-15
because you lose a locker room super quick when you're losing football games, right? Everything is gravy when we're winning, right? Everybody's getting along, but the minute you start losing games and losing 13, 14 games in a season, like that's where you teeter on losing the locker room. And so why would you want to set yourself up for that if there was a job made available? Is Denver the job? I don't know. I mean, I haven't even heard anything about him in Denver, but I mean, if you look at the roster, we've talked about it before. I mean, Denver's potentially a spot.
Denver's a great spot because they're ready to win right there as long as they get a quarterback. Does Russell Wilson end up there? It's yet to be seen. If Harbaugh goes there, I think they go all out and they try to throw everything in. That division's tough, though. That's a really tough division with the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Las Vegas Raiders. It's a tough division. Speaking of tough divisions, the AFC North is a tough division because no team wants to win it, and the Bengals ended up winning it. But while we're talking Rumor Central here, Rumor Roundup, there's a rumor floating around, especially on Browns Twitter. Unfortunately, I am a Browns fan, so I have to deal with it, where the Browns this offseason will reunite Kirk Cousins with his former offense coordinator, Kevin Stefanski, in Cleveland, and they will trade Baker Mayfield to the Minnesota Vikings. This is the stupidest shit I've ever heard for a lot of reasons. One, if you're Minnesota, why do you trade for Baker Mayfield?
No, you don't.
Yes,
the whole thing doesn't make any sense.
No. Kirk Cousins, $45 million due next year. If you're the Cleveland Browns and you're trying to re-sign Denzel Ward, you're trying to sign all your young guys, that $45 million next year,
45.
Do you trade for that?
Imagine paying Kirk Cousins $45 million in a year.
Kirk Cousins, solid quarterback.
He is.
He's got Justin Jefferson, though. He's got Adam Thielen. He's got Dalvin Cook, and they still
we know what he is.
500.
It's the same team every year, right?
It's the same touchdowns.
The record ends up in the same spot every year for the most part. It's a teetering playoff team.
Yeah. 220 touchdowns, 91 picks over 10 years. Baker Mayfield in 4 years, 92 touchdowns, 56 picks. Let me say something. I'm not standing up for Baker or anything. Baker sucked
you're
this
standing
year.
up for Baker. Stand up for him.
Everyone can say, oh, he had the injury. The injury doesn't explain why he can't throw to guys who are wide open. What bothered me about Baker, and this is for a whole nother show where I just go on a huge long rant about Baker Mayfield and why he failed, nothing to do with the shoulder injury, everything to do with the guy he was coming out of college. Everything in my scouting report coming out of college said he likes to ignore the easy plays to try to extend the play longer and ends up taking sacks because he's always looking for the big play. He's done that a million times. That's why Baker sucked this year, part of it. Yes, the injury. But this trade, people, stop it.
No.
Stupid trade.
And
it doesn't happen for either team.
You watch the team religiously, and I mean, I actually kind of do too, living here and having family and whatnot. This isn't all Baker Mayfield issue. The game plan Kevin Stefanski rolled out on Monday night was embarrassing. Right? It's embarrassing. And listen, Baker's 2 tackles have mostly been injured this season. Mm-hmm. Baker, I think, excels when he's able to move around and get out of the pocket. He hasn't been able to do that because his body's falling apart. Mm-hmm. So he can't take, and we know he's a small quarterback. When he gets outside of the pocket, he has the ability to actually see the field, to where when he's a pocket passer, he doesn't. I don't think he's necessarily a pocket passer. He needs to be able, he doesn't have to be able to scramble and go crazy. He just needs to be able to get out of the pocket and he's breaking down. So this isn't all Baker Mayfield. I would say there's 98% chance Baker Mayfield's a starting quarterback next year.
And the only thing they need to do is bring in a guy to push him. Maybe Gardner Minshew.
Which was maybe it's Case Keenum. Like, apparently it's not. But no,
Case Keenum is just what Case Keenum's always been.
There's 3 scenarios where you look to start a different quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Deshaun Watson. That's it.
There you go.
That's it.
That's all I need to say.
If you don't get that, then Baker is 6 is under center next year.
Moving on, talking more Aaron Rodgers in Rumor Central here. And it's not even Rumor Central, it's just straight up news about Aaron Rodgers. And this kind of changed in the last hour here because Hub Arkish, who's worked for CBS, he's been around forever. He's like 70 years old. He comes out and says Aaron Rodgers is the biggest jerk in the league. Basically, he shouldn't vote for MVP. He won't give him his MVP vote. And now, in the past hour, he's come out and written a big article about, it was a big mistake for revealing MVP vote. Yes, he is. And he's sent out the article, and they removed the paywall so everyone can read it. So now everyone's flocking to their site. It worked.
Because Rodgers called him a bum?
Yeah, and Rodgers comes out after being called the biggest jerk in the league. He comes out and says, listen, I think he's an absolute bum. He doesn't want to vote for me because I'm not vaccinated. Then maybe you should vote for the most vaccinated player in the league. Listen, Aaron Rodgers, 3,977 yards, 35 touchdowns, ridiculous 4 picks in 16 games.
Yep.
If it's not Joe Burrow, if it's not Tom Brady, it's Aaron Rodgers. Those are my 3 guys right now for MVP. It's those 3 guys. And Burrow, a lot of it's the last 2 games, how good he's been.
But 1,000 yards in 2 games, yeah.
We're also seeing him lead the Bengals to the AFC North crown. I thought the Bengals were going to be good.
Here, and those other guys down here. Yeah. And that's not changing in the last week of the season, right? It's not going to change. Joe Burrow's not going to play this week.
Series.
It's just not going to change. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't win MVP, there's a bunch more, whatever the hell the dude's name is, that are voting for MVP. There's going to be the woke folk in media won't vote for Aaron Rodgers, even though everybody knows that Aaron Rodgers is the MVP.
Listen,
and that's what we're gotten into. And good for Aaron Rodgers for saying, dude, that, I mean, first of all, why would you say that publicly? It just makes, if you want to go ahead and do that, then you don't have to tell anybody about it. No, you know what I mean? It's not, you don't have to be like, hey, yeah, I'm not doing that.
But at the same time, it's now they've got their paywall taken down so they can read another one of his articles. It's like
this was all a setup. Dudes behind a paywall, like, you know, that want to throw out these ridiculous, controversial takes and hope that somebody will click on it.
Oh man,
this guy's an idiot.
I got to do the dollar trial for 7 days and totally forget about it and get charged $70 for a week of reading the Chicago Sun-Times or whatever he writes for. I didn't even want to click on the free article because I'm like, no, I'm not even buying into this. I'm like, I'll get the gist of it.
I clicked on it. It's one of those where you can like read like the first maybe like paragraph.
Yeah.
And then it's like, pay me if you want to read more. And I was like,
I'm
sure the internet will. The nice part about the internet is the internet will just legitimately like pull up the article that some random person actually pays for, and they'll just screenshot the whole thing.
One guy pays for the entire internet to read. Yeah, it's fantastic.
There's one internet guy, and he floats the bill for this for like a bunch of newspaper sites, and then he just posts screenshots, and somehow he gets commissioned for it. I mean, it's a genius idea.
You, random internet guy who screenshots everything for us.
Hell yeah, good for that guy.
That guy's a great guy. And Habarkish, dude, get it. You've been around forever. You've done a lot of stuff. You worked for CBS Radio. You've had a hell of a career, but don't be an idiot. And you're a clown. And we are going to segue into our Clowns of the Week segment here. We have not done Clowns of the Week in a while. I think last time we did it was... No, I don't. But anyway, got to answer kids' questions while we're doing the show. But Clowns of the Week. We haven't done that since, I think, Chase Claypool, when he talked about him being a clown. It's every single week. I'll do it in a sec. But anyway, let's go to our first Clown of the Week. We're going to play the audio so those on the pod listening to the pod don't have to worry about finding the video. Let's go with some Joe Judge audio here.
And do some dad stuff.
This ain't a team that's having fistfights on the sidelines. This ain't some clown show organization or something else, okay? You talk about the foundation built. You talk about things the toughest thing to change in a team, the toughest thing to change in a club is the way people think. You understand that? That's the toughest thing. You can get new players. You can have in your damn locker room all you want. You got to change how people think. And you got to change how they believe in what you're doing. And they got to trust the process. And that's a lot easier said than done when they're looking up right now and you got 1 game left and the most games you're going to win is 5 this season.
Now, we played that part of it, or I played that part of it for one reason, because it sounds like he's really teaching something. But he continues to go on all of a sudden to say there are guys who played for his team last year, the year before, who are now calling him from other teams and saying they take less money to come back to New York to be on this team that he just said is maybe going to win 5 games, on a team that he has fired multiple offensive coordinators, including Jason Garrett, who he handpicked to bring in, who was supposed to be the offensive guru to fix Danny Dimes. He's gone, probably going to Duke as their new head coach or somewhere around there. And then he's like, oh, Freddie Kitchens, you worked for Baker Mayfield 3 years ago. Maybe you can do something. And they've gotten worse with Freddie riding the bus. It makes no sense. This whole press conference was an absolute rant of just idiocy where this guy's like, yeah, I got a girlfriend, but she goes to a different school. Well, let's meet her. She's at a traveling softball tournament this week. You can't. We're just making up complete bullshit, George Glass style.
Just making it up, dude.
I've been like, I understand. Like, I support him because I think he was doing a pretty damn good job for the most part as far as trying to get his team to buy in. They suck. That's it. Just say our team sucks. We got to get better. Danny Dimes is trash. You're still running out Mike the long neck giraffe Glennon. Why?
No, Jake Fromm week. Jake Fromm week. Take it back.
Jake Fromm, and the best part about Jake Fromm starting,
he's not Mike Glennon.
And Lee Fromm's probably going to be in the damn stands to watch the game. And Jake Fromm's mom is hot. Okay,
Jake Fromm's mom.
And Jake Fromm. Instead of going Jake Fromm State Farm, you should have went Jake from State Farm. That would have been a way better Twitter handle, and that's when I knew you wouldn't be the number 1 overall pick. Also, I found an article today while we're talking Jake Fromm, and I'm ranting about idiocies. There was an article written in December of 2019 where Tua was the favorite for the number 1 pick, and then number 2 at 2-1 odds was Jake Fromm to be the number 1 pick in the 2020 NFL draft. And he's fallen a long way. And at the time, I think we all thought that would happen. But yeah, what the hell is going on with Joe Judge? Back to that. Let's hear your thoughts.
It's just like, read the room, dude. Like what do you like? What does the locker room think about? And listen, the locker room may love Joe Judge, but there's no ex-players laying in bed at night calling Joe Judge saying how much they want to play for his 4-12 or
Are
whatever.
you telling me you're not laying in bed at night thinking, God, I need to be a Giants fan instead of a Lions fan now?
No, right. Nobody wants to call. Like, nobody's begging to play for the 4-12 Giants for less money. Listen, he may. The locker room may love him. And I think they do, right? I'm not going to say like that he's lost a locker room or whatever. But it hasn't been good, right? It's another special teams coach from New England. And you come in, and I think this is kind of what hurt Matt Patricia immediately. Is like, if you remember when Matt Patricia came to the Lions, he ripped on the guy in the press conference for having a backwards hat, even though Matt Patricia is Mr. Backwards Hat, like with the pencil in the air. And I just think that like he would make him practice in the snow for no reason. He was a dick. He traded Darius Slay, who alerts pretty damn good. And he, just because he came in and tried to be this guy that's like trying to, bully people essentially in an NFL locker room, and just, it doesn't work in my opinion. Like Mike Vrabel may have like those kind of, tendencies, but I think Mike Vrabel to the guys in the locker room like Mike Vrabel. And I guarantee there's a different side of Mike Vrabel that they see on a day-to-day basis as compared to what we see. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that's the same with Joe Judge. Right. And I'm throwing Mike Vrabel in because it's part of that, Belichick tree. Mm-hmm. But it's to me, I just don't see it working. Like, even when Danny Dimes was playing, your team was terrible.
Yep.
And you could tell me Saquon Barkley's not great anymore. I still think it's just Kenny Golladay has 0 touchdowns, dude.
$75 million or so for 0 touchdowns.
Thank you, Lord, for us not re-signing Kenny Golladay for the
Amon-Ra St. Brown, baby.
Yeah, he's the sun god.
And talking about Mike Vrabel, I feel like they relate differently with Mike Vrabel because he was a baller as a player, too.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Joe Judge, I believe, or Matt Nagy, I'm switching them up, so go ahead. Never mind.
No. So it's again, and I can't speak to what it's like in the locker room. It's just like, for me, when he makes comments like that, one, nobody believes him. And it's just like, read the room, in my opinion. Like, you have to know that that's just something stupid to say. It's like the reporter with the Aaron Rodgers thing. Mm-hmm. Why the hell are you saying it in the first place? What is the benefit from this? Like, what are we benefiting from this?
We got the paywall taken down.
Yeah, like now everybody hates this guy, and so people know his name. I still don't remember his name, and I've listened to like the whole thing, read the article, and I still have no idea.
Pornhub Arkish.
It's like this guy
is short for Pornhub.
And it's like, I think even like everything's political now, but like, I think the left and the right are both like, this guy's, it sucks, dude. Like it's almost like the John Madden guy that was like, yeah, well, he created a video game that promoted concussions. in our children. And it's like, what kind of stance is this?
You retweeted that, and I'm like, I can't even comment on this.
I'm like, this is a terrible take. Because that was the thing, like with John Madden, and this is what we in this day and age, nobody has a bad thing to say about John Madden, right?
No.
It certainly doesn't seem that way. And then in today's age, somebody's got to just be the dick to come in and be like, well, that guy, imagine how many less concussions there would be in life if John Madden didn't exist. Like, what?
It's a video game. Like, there's not going to be another NFL game going around. Come on.
Yeah.
And the worst thing I heard anyone say about John Madden was that they weren't allowed to shit on the Madden cruiser. Like, he's like, no, you can't do it. Boom, get out of my bus. Boom, out, go. But yeah,
I mean, that seems like a fair rule, by the way.
Yeah, we haven't been on since Madden died.
We haven't.
Every team in the NFL had some kind of memorial thing for John Madden because that guy was that good. He was a guy who got along with everyone. He touched all of our lives in some way. Our generation remembers a football game that we still play, which is the same goddamn game every year. And I bought Madden 22 for a dumbass reason, but we won't get into that. Yes, because
I got my brother-in-law has it, and it's like the same game.
We got an Xbox Series X for Christmas. That's what our big gifts for the kids.
Y'all the rich folks over there.
We got the nice Xbox Series X, and I bought the Series X version of Madden because it was supposed to be so much better. And I'm like, this looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't worth it. So anyway,
you're like $600 in. It's the same damn thing.
It's the same shit. Well, my other Xbox is taking a shit, so we use it for everything, and whatever. Anyway, Madden, we remember him as the video game guy, the commentary. People remember him as the head coach. Nobody has anything bad to say.
Completely off topic. Well, not really off topic, but does the new Xbox download games faster?
Super fast.
Really? Because like the old Xbox is like a day thing, right? Like it took you a day to download a game.
Madden downloaded in 45 minutes.
Wow.
The entire game.
Okay, so that's a plus.
Yeah, and you do the stuff on Game Pass where you pay for Game Pass and you get all the games. My kids get the games they want to play and download them in a half hour and ready to roll.
Game Pass over there too.
Yeah, I mean,
you guys are
it up. That was what we got the kids stuff for Christmas they like, so it worked perfectly.
I can't wait till my kids like video games.
It's fun. I mean, they're playing Minecraft and stuff I don't get, and
I don't know.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Are you like mine coal and stuff?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You throw a canary down the coal mine, and then you're like, okay, came back out. It's safe to go in. No, it's like
you throw a bird in a coal mine?
No, I'm just making shit up.
Oh, all right. Yeah, see, as people I have no idea what Minecraft is. Sounds
they
sweet.
Build stuff and battle zombie
like
villagers.
SimCity?
Kind of, but the other kid downloaded The Sims. So,
The Sims is a great game.
And all of a sudden, I turned my head, and on my 75-inch TV, I'm watching some chick in a bikini swim in a pond outside of a house that's not built. I'm like,
a video
what the
game?
hell is going on? Yeah. Her girl decided to start swimming in the pond randomly with frogs and stuff.
Video games have come a long way.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that was our John Madden talk. But you know what? While we're talking clowns, as we get back to clowns and away from John Madden, how did John Madden fit in our clown section? Definitely not a clown. The anti-clown.
You did that. You pivoted it.
We did. We just went everywhere. That's what we do.
You brought up the Xbox, which brought up John Madden.
No, how did we get on Madden? Are you sure that's how we got on Madden?
No.
Anyone listening or following along, let us know how the hell we just did that. But let's get back into Clowns of the Week. And for those listening on the pod, unfortunately, I do have to switch this where you will
Is Mike Evans is a clown?
No, not Mike Evans.
Antonio Brown boiled over, very upset on the sideline, took off his shoulder pads. Mike Evans, O.J. Howard trying to convince him to keep them on. Obviously, they were unable to do so. He tossed his shoulder pads, stripped off his shirt and glove, threw those into the crowd, then ran across the field while the teams were still on the field, giving the crowd a peace out sign. I'll let you know when we hear something official on his status.
Guys, Antonio Brown seemed to have pulled a Vontae Davis as he just unexpectedly.
All right, I don't know who that kid is or what his voice is doing in that, but
that was weird, man.
Yeah. Anyway, Antonio Brown just quits during the game, starts stripping, takes off his jersey. He's doing jumping jacks in the end zone. Yeah, right. Everyone's seen this. Like, there's kids coming out of the womb. Like, yo, do you see that? Like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, Antonio, is he done? No.
No, AB's never done, dude. You seen the raps he's been putting out?
Yeah, I heard he's dropping rhymes. I haven't listened.
I don't know what's good and what's bad rap, but I listened to it and I was like, this pretty much sounds like every other rap song I've heard.
What's the last rap song that you liked? Like, how old are we going? How far are we going back?
Dude, it's been 15 years, right?
Okay, so we going like Hot in Here, Nelly? Are we going?
Well, right, yeah. So the Nelly kind of, and like the Carter one, like
Okay.
Lil Wayne was like kind of where I was at with that.
Are we going?
Nelly
maybe
for
Lollipop?
sure. Well, no, like maybe like the first Marshall Mathers LP.
Okay.
Like those were. I remember this show just always goes off topic. I remember I had a not a Walkman, but like, you know, a portable CD player.
Yeah, the Discman.
Yeah, this makes sense. And I was on a road trip, and I had, you know, my parents wouldn't let me get like the parental advisory versions, right? So they had like edited versions, which like Eminem edited is like
you just hear the beat,
like they're just like no words like in a row. It's just like it's terrible. So I was going on a trip from Illinois at the time to Toledo, about a 5-hour trip. I was probably 15, maybe, and I had the parental advisory one, and somehow my grandmother bumped my Walkman or my Discman or whatever, and like could hear like the Marshall Mathers LP loudly through the headphones, and if you ever heard that album, it's not something you want to have your grandmother hear, and so I was in some shit that day. But yeah, so that, I mean, literally that was, I mean, there might be like some rap songs occasionally here and there that I might hear that I'm like, oh, I can deal with that. Like I've heard like of Lamar, what's his name? Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, I was gonna call Lamar Odom. But he's fine, I guess, right? But then there's like this, like people I've never heard of. Like I saw like somebody like Juice WRLD. Yeah, like what the hell? What is
trash?
That? I don't even know what that is.
Trash.
Yeah, I didn't listen to it. I just saw.
If you don't agree, hit us up. I'll listen to anything you want. I will check it. I don't mind listening to music.
I will not listen to anybody named Juice WRLD. If anybody wants me to, I'm not going to do that.
So I'm a big music fan. I love Spotify. I play Spotify when I'm working. If I'm not with the kids, I'm listening to music, whatever. Every now and then I put on like the top 50 in the United States, see how many I can listen to.
Oh.
It's getting harder and harder every week. And Juice WRLD, I think this dude's dead now. But I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. I apologize if his family just found this out because I just made this up and maybe I'm not right.
I'm Googling it right now.
Yeah, find out for me if he's actually dead.
Go on, yeah. No,
but anyway,
no way
so
Juice WRLD is dead.
There's a possibility Juice WRLD's dead, and there's like 8 songs on the top 50 of his. Every single one sounded the same.
Oh, he is dead. What?
Okay, so see, look. You're hearing breaking hip-hop news here on Cleveland's Blazing Hip-Hop and R&B. But anyway.
Oh, no.
Yeah. How did
Juice WRLD accidentally overdosed on oxycodone and codeine?
It's always that kind of shit, man.
At the airport.
Pills.
At Midway Airport.
Listen, I've been in a lot of airports where I've wanted to do that myself, but I didn't.
I'm sorry I just brought up a dead guy. Like, I didn't know he was dead.
Hey, you know who's dead but still good, and why haven't
I'm never talking rap again. I'm out. I'm sorry. I said the one guy I bring up. I could have brought up Tupac. I mean, what am I doing here?
How come we can't find out who killed Tupac on the Vegas Strip?
It's Juice WRLD.
We can find Osama bin Laden. We can find Saddam Hussein in a hole in Iraq, but we can't find out who killed Tupac on the Vegas Strip. And this is the full coverage football show. Yeah. Anyway,
AB. Yeah, he's just batshit crazy. And here's the deal. Like,
is that his single?
So I saw super
Gremlin. That's what it was.
All right, I just got to stop trying to say hip stuff. Yeah. Oh, what I was gonna say is like I see their report. Like he said he was hurt, didn't want to go back in the game or whatever. But I guarantee before the game, like they gave him the opportunity to sit the game out. Right? They're not gonna. And so whether that's a true thing or not, I still think he gets another chance because he's good. He's still really good. Like, and so, but then he gets in the cab with the guy, dude. The whole thing is so good, and then he like comes out and like does a video like saying Big Ben, he's one of the best ever, man. He shouldn't retire. And then he came out today with a Mike Zimmer one. And I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, he literally is. And listen, he may have some mental issues, but he's also got just being an asshole issues too.
Yeah.
And so I know that we're in like the mental health, like, and people do and struggle or whatever, but we can't just blame everything on it. Like, he's been an asshole for a long stretch of time. I mean, he was, remember, he was cussing out the cops in front of his kids and his baby.
Take care of y'all chicken.
His kid's mother in front of like the kids. Like, I don't know. Like, he's just a bad dude.
Listen, people want to say, oh, it's a CTE from taking hits in the NFL. If you look at his picture from Central Michigan, Google his picture right now. Antonio Brown, Central Michigan, team photo. There's a picture of him, and he's just like this.
I'm not sure if you just like get CTE immediately, like after a hit. Like, I don't think it's how
so many excuses. Like that everyone talks about the Vontaze Burfict hit he took over the middle. Like Vontaze laid his ass out and cleaned his clock.
Oh, he did.
But that didn't spark all this. Like Antonio Brown's always been crazy. And Mike Tomlin, 15 straight seasons above 500, incredible record. But maybe the smartest, craziest thing you ever accomplished was keeping that batshit crazy mother absolutely normal for a long enough time to do some good things with him. But yeah. Clowns of the week, Joe Judge, Antonio Brown. Maybe neither one has a job by next week. We'll see. Who knows? You want to talk college football playoffs?
Sure.
Or you want to talk some more rap game? Talk about mask
I
wolves?
do not want to talk anymore rap game. I literally said, like, my knowledge was of a dude that's already dead.
Hey, you knew his name.
And that's just nobody wants to come on here to listen to me talk about a guy I didn't know his name, and then I realized that when I figured it out, he was dead.
Hey,
so
most of the best are dead. I mean,
Lil Wayne is alive, correct?
He is, as far as I know right now.
Is Nelly alive too?
Yeah, Nelly was on something not that long ago.
Nelly's still doing stuff? Is he still rapping?
I think so, but it's not very good.
No, it can't be any good. All right, yeah. Well, that's all. I was just making sure the other guys were alive.
For those you Petey Pablo fans that were talking rap and hip hop
he was the helicopter guy, right?
Who am I?
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Petey Pablo came out with a new album, and I'm like, I love Petey Pablo back in the day. I'm checking it out. You know what? Worst shit I've ever listened to in my life.
It has to be terrible.
It's bad.
Like, he was screaming at us back there. Like, I don't want you to scream at me. Like there's no reason to, like, I don't know. It doesn't. Let's move on.
Listen, you throw on some Petey Pablo right now, I'm gonna rip my shirt off and swing it around my head. And you're gonna see Boley Jello shaking. It's gonna be sexy. College football playoffs. Alabama, number 1 seed. Georgia, the number 3 seed. Ow, a light just fell on my foot. This is the two teams we thought it'd be, basically, going into this by midway through the season. I mean, we started this show out with a college football preview and said Georgia's the best team in the country. And for most of the season, 12, 13 weeks, they proved that to us. And then they faced Bama, who said, how good is that defense? Only giving up 7 points a game. We're going to put 40 on you. We're going to stomp you. That's how it's going to be. But come Monday, 8 p.m., Lucas Oil Stadium, you're going to see the two best teams in the country. 10 players on the field are in my top 100 players for the 2022 NFL Draft. That's how good they are. Neither one is a quarterback, which is even crazier because they're not draft eligible. And Stetson Bennett.
Dude, there's no Monday Night Football?
Nope. Okay. We got Saturday night. We got Monday Night Football on Saturday because that's what they got to call it on ESPN, which also is really stupid.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. It's Saturday.
Monday Night Football on Saturday. I don't know. It's stupid because that's the rights they have.
Treat us like we don't know what day of week it is.
Hey, half the time I don't. But as we open up and we look at this, I tried to get a Georgia beat reporter on, got denied by 2, and then 1 never responded to me. So rather than having a guy from Georgia or a lady from Georgia come on and talk Georgia Bulldogs football, we're going to talk Stetson Bennett is the key to this football game. Why is he the key to this football game? Because you got to match points with Alabama. They are unbelievably good. They will put up points on that defense no matter how good Georgia's defense really is. Bryce Young, Brian Robinson, Jameson Williams. I mean, what's this? Slay. I'm trying to think of the kid's name, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. Slay Bolden. They are good. Slay Bolden, most people have never heard of. This guy's going to come out, blow things up. That offense for Alabama is going to put up points. That defense, led by Will Anderson, the best player in football right now, and not even draft eligible. He's a dangerous man. And you can't block him with 1 guy. You can't block him with 2. You got to block him with 3, 5, 8. I don't care. That's how good this kid is. Stetson Bennett needs to stand up strong in the face of the blitz if this team's going to have any chance. What do you think about this game? Who you got winning it? Let's hear your thoughts.
So the first thing I will say is I don't think Alabama's hanging a 40 burger. I just don't see it. I don't see them doing it twice on this defense. To your point, Georgia does have to have the ability to throw the football, right? Like it's been extremely inconsistent. The defense has just been so dominant, it hasn't mattered. But they have to be able to push the ball down the field against Alabama because Alabama will score points. But I do think that it's important not to overreact to what we saw in the SEC championship, right? We have a larger sample size of these two teams where we've seen Alabama, and of course Alabama is on the up and coming and they're trending, which is something you like to see if you're an Alabama fan. But to me, I still think Georgia's the team to beat. I'm sticking with it. It's hard to beat a team twice, and I just have a feeling that Georgia's defense will buck its head a little bit and show up more than they did against Alabama. And so I think it's going to be a tight game, of course, but I'm still going to go with Georgia.
What's the final score?
I'll say 27-24.
27-24?
Yeah. Georgia.
Listen, I would love to not take Bama in this game because I think Georgia's going to flat out beat them. But I have to go with Georgia because that's who I said and we both said at the beginning of the year. So I would love to say that I don't think Bama's going to win and it's going to be easy, but I can't say that. I think Bama's going to make this a really good game. Georgia hasn't won a college football playoff or college football national championship since 1980. Neither one of us were alive. It's been a long time.
That's true.
We're old white guys now who can't talk about rap. That's how old we've become, apparently. But 1980 to 2022 is going to be the end of the drought here. I think Georgia wins it. I'm going to go 23-19.
Okay. Wow.
I think it's going to be tight. We both think close game.
I think the second time seeing each other too. I expect the defense to be a little bit better, and particularly on Georgia's side, but on both sides. Like you've kind of, and the other thing is, Alabama will definitely be ready, but I do think Georgia Georgia has more to learn from that first game and improve on clearly because they lost that Alabama does. Alabama's offense was awesome that day. And I just don't see that happening again. I still think they have a good game. Like they're not going to shut Alabama down, but that Georgia defense, that's what they do, right? And so they need to come to play, man.
Stetson Bennett key to this game because last week 313 yards against the Michigan defense, which was averaging giving up about 195, 196 a game. He threw for 340 against Bama, but a lot of that was in catch-up ball, and he threw a pick six. Take care of the football, hit Brock Bowers over the middle, run the football, wear down that defense. Only way you're going to beat them. Because if you get into a scoring fest, if it gets into a high flight passing battle, Bama blows the doors off Georgia. Bryce Young, the better quarterback in this game. Their offense is better. You got to count on that defense to do something. Nakobe Dean's got to step up in what is probably his final game at Georgia as a Bulldog before he's probably a top 10, top 15 pick. Give me Georgia. I think it's going to be fun, though. Let's get into our game picks here. Let me give me a second to pull up the matchups for this week. This is why it's easier when I print stuff out.
I got it pulled up if you want me to.
Let's go. You pull them up this time. Call the games. Let's hear what you got.
So we have Kansas City at Denver. This is going to be that first Saturday game, 4:30. Drew Lock, again getting the start. Some say he'll be out there slinging it for about 184 passing yards and 2 interceptions. What do you like in this one?
Give me Kansas City. They're playing for the number 1 seed. And, I mean, Drew Lock, and every time I say Drew Lock now, I think of damn Shrek and Duloc. But Drew Lock, this is a big game for him because he's got to prove what he is going forward. You got to prove you can do something.
He's not good. I agree. I will take Kansas City as well. The Dallas Cowboys traveling to the beautiful city of Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Jalen Hurts almost got crushed by
the Washington Admirals,
by some football team fans. Who are you liking this one?
This is interesting because are we going to get to see Dak versus Jalen Hurts?
I don't know.
Both teams have clinched, or are we going to see Cooper Rush and Who's the other backup now?
Gardner, dude.
Oh, Gardner Minshew. How did I forget Gardner?
Yeah.
Listen, if it's Gardner, give me Gardner in that one. Give me
The
Philadelphia.
line right now tells me, and this is just the line, that Dallas is at -7. So according to what I'm looking at now here on DraftKings, they are expecting Dallas to play the starters. If that's the case, I take Dallas. If it's because if it's Cooper Rush, I'm taking Gardner Minshew. So I guess with an asterisk, I will take Dallas. I know that's really unfair.
No, you're getting the asterisk.
I'll just roll with Dallas outright, I guess. All right.
And I mean, hang on a second. Let me pull this up.
Yeah.
Probably can show it. Game picks. Look, you got a 2-game lead on me right now.
Huge.
This is a big week for me. This is almost insurmountable at this point in the season. Because once we get to the little games, I got to start disagreeing just to try to get the win like I did last year in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's been close to 2 years, so I need to make up some ground this week. What's our next game, bud?
So next game is the Carson Wentz Colts heading down to beautiful Jacksonville, Florida to take on the Jaguars. This game does actually have playoff implications.
It does.
The Jags, do they shock the world or do you take the Colts? By the way, this spread is 15. Holy macadamia nuts. That's a large
Let's
one.
look at this. This is a 1 o'clock kickoff here. Jacksonville 2-14. Indianapolis will clinch a playoff berth if they win, or if the Chargers lose, Baltimore and Pittsburgh tie, or the Chargers lose, Pittsburgh loses, and Miami wins.
Colts just got to win.
Colts, take care of business, get in the game. They should win this.
Is Trevor Lawrence suck?
I can't. It's almost the same feeling I've had about Baker Mayfield for years. I can't really tell yet.
No, don't
because
do that.
of what's
don't
been
do
set
that
up.
because that's not fair. Baker's been way better than Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, he has.
Even in his
but
rookie
Trevor
season.
Lawrence has the same, almost identical numbers as Blake Bortles had in his rookie season. Blake Bortles' second year, he was much better through 27 touchdowns.
Are we doing Blake Bortles comparisons?
No, they had almost. Hang on. I got to find this. I know I got it
where
somewhere.
are you going? I don't
I'm
hate
not
it.
saying they're the same guy, but their numbers for this year, it's bonkers. Hang on, let me. I got to find this tweet.
Blake Bortles a legend. All right. Well, I mean, are we both going with the Colts? I'll let you look the tweet up.
I mean, we both got to go Colts. Do you see?
Yeah, I'm not taking
Jacksonville sneaking up on this. Okay,
no
rookie season with the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, 10 pass touchdowns, 17 interceptions, 6 yards per attempt, 58.9 completion percentage. Blake Bortles, 11 touchdowns, 17 picks, 58.9 completion percentage, exact same, 6.1 yards per attempt. Almost identical numbers their rookie season.
I mean, if you were going to bring up Blake Bortles, you could at least have the video of him talk about ripping cigs up. Like, I mean, he's a like. I have a tough time comparing anybody to Blake Bortles just because he's such a legend. I worry about. We talk about this all the time. Confidence. You're in the league now. Like it can get seriously battered early on, especially when you come from a program that's known for winning basically every game. And he just had some terrible interceptions I've seen here recently. So I'll go with the Colts, and you're doing the same.
Yep, he threw his first touchdown pass in 9 weeks last week. 9 weeks.
Yeah, that's not what we're looking for.
The thing that sucks for him is his head coach was more. His head coach, let's just say he sucked. That's all I'm going to say. Urban Meyer was terrible. It was a joke. The next hire for the Jacksonville Jaguars has to be exactly the guy they need, or else this franchise gets pushed back 5 to 6 more years.
I agree. All right. Next, we have the Tennessee Titans with a key player, you could argue, back practicing today. Travel down
definitely argue that he's a key player.
Yeah, you could. You could argue he's a primetime player. Travel down to Houston to face Davis Mills and the Texans. And listen, the Texans are a bad football team. The Texans have shown signs of being okay.
He's done a pretty solid job.
Yeah, like it spreads 10.5. That's a hefty spread in division. Who you like in this one?
I like the Titans because they want to clinch the number 1 seed. But I also want to ask you, why is everyone so thrilled about Davis Mills all of a sudden? Has he been that good, or is it just he's putting up numbers in crunch, like in defeats?
He's actually been fine. This is where you get in the area where you try to talk yourself into a backup quarterback being a starting quarterback,
Okay.
and you think that you can move forward with him. I think Davis Mills is a nice backup quarterback. But see, that's the thing. Over a stretch of games, guys that you would hope would show signs. But that doesn't mean you can just buy into it. But I think he's definitely been solid. I think it's just for them, where do you go, right? Like I think where they're gonna pick is what they're 4-12, or they have 3 wins. They have 4-12.
I think they're the
Right?
third pick right now in the draft.
Yeah, so a third pick in this draft seems very early to go for a quarterback, right?
I don't think any quarterback should go in the first round of this draft right now.
Yeah, but they will.
I know they will, but I don't think anyone should.
No, I agree. So if you're the Texans, I do you expect Davis Mills to be the starting quarterback next year? I kind of do.
Yeah, and you bring in maybe a older guy to
Maybe Tyrod Taylor.
All
right, I'll
take the Titans in this one.
Yeah, I'll take Tennessee as well.
And let's look at the Titans playoff thing here. Tennessee wins, they're the number 1 seed. Or Tennessee has to tie, KC has to lose or tie. KC lost, Cincinnati lost or tie, New England lost or tie. Win. That's it. Win. You're in. Next game.
Burrowless Cincinnati Bengals, probably
Brandon Allen versus Case Keenum.
Yeah, probably without a majority of their starters, goes to Cleveland. I like the Browns in this game just based off of Cincinnati basically playing backups, and Case Keenum being serviceable.
This game is big for the Cleveland Browns because you have to show you have some kind of fucking ball sack. And I'm just dropping that right now because last week you showed you absolutely were just trash. You had a chance to go in to knock out Big Brother, who has whooped on you for 15 seasons, 20 seasons, whatever it is. Ben Roethlisberger's been around. Only
Austin
lost
Hooper
twice.
was catching like he had money on Pittsburgh.
Dude, Austin Hooper is the only guy who can't catch Corona in the entire world because that guy can't catch shit right now. All right?
It was a bad deal.
$10 million this season for this guy right now. 9.5 to cut him going into next year. They need to refigure that contract out. But yeah, give me the Browns because I want the Browns to show something. And this is just the Browns fan in me hoping that they don't go into 2022 coming on a freaking 3-game, 4-game losing streak, whatever the hell it'll be at that point, 3-game losing streak, because you have no ball sacks. Nut up, show up, play some football. Give me the Browns.
I'll take the Browns as well. Next game we head to, it was an emotional scene, folks, at Heinz Field on that Monday night. Ben Roethlisberger threw 96 passes for 100 yards. Dude, he had 34 attempts in the first half. He finished like 48 attempts for like $1.50.
2.7 yards an attempt.
Jesus, man. He heads to Baltimore. I don't know if you know at this point, but I'm unsure of Lamar Jackson's availability.
It's looking like Tyler Huntley as of right now.
Yeah, that ankle injury, which we thought was kind of minor, is turned into be significant at this point. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. You like?
Have you seen the Batman movie where Bane walks onto the field and the field implodes?
I have not. I'm not a big superhero movie guy.
Listen, that's what I want to happen here.
Not a big rap guy. Not a big superhero movie guy.
So, listen,
but it sounds awesome. It sounds like a cool time.
I'm gonna take the Ravens.
Okay. All right. So next game,
who are you taking in that one?
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
Like I don't want to pick either. Let him
I'll actually take the Ravens as well on that one.
And this game, this is big playoff implications because if everyone else loses ahead of them,
Pittsburgh gets in.
Baltimore can get in. If they win, the Chargers lose, Indianapolis loses, and Miami loses or ties, Baltimore gets in. Pittsburgh can get in still if Pittsburgh wins, Indianapolis loses, and Las Vegas and the Chargers does not end in a tie. So, whatever. It's insane. Next.
Yeah. The controversial, not most vaccinated player, Aaron Rodgers, heads to beautiful Ford Field with a wonderful fan base there in Detroit to take on potentially Jared Goff, more than likely a Tim Boyle-led Lions team. At this point of the week, Aaron Rodgers says he's playing. I don't think he's playing.
Series 2, maybe.
It would make this line tells me Aaron Rodgers is playing, right? Lions are getting 3.5 points at home. I think if Aaron Rodgers is playing, this would be more like a 7.5 point spread. Do you like the Packers or the Lions in this game?
I like the Lions in this one because that team shows up every week and fights.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they were down 31-7 at the half last week. I'll take the Lions too, man. Let's go. Last week we got I feel like I'm kind of being a bitch here with picking the same teams, but all right. So the fighting Justin Fields.
Listen,
Bears.
everyone watching or listening to this show, if you're gonna put a bet on anyone, put it on the Packers because anytime we both take the Lions, and both take the Browns, you're guaranteed to see those teams get their asses whooped.
Yeah. Pivot, fade those hard.
Pivot.
The Bears and Justin Fields head to Minnesota. And Mike Zimmer with the hot girlfriend, Kirk Cousins, getting paid apparently $45 million. Who do you like in this one?
Give me this.
I mean, this is Matt Nagy's last game. So what kind of energy? Let me ask you this. If you know you're being fired as the head coach, what kind of energy does the team even come out with that week? Is it get one for the skipper? Or is it like, let's celebrate and get this guy out of here, right?
I don't expect a lot out of him. Give me the Vikings and Mike Zimmer to ride off with a happy ending with the hot girlfriend.
Yeah, I think it's the Vikings all day. Or actually, this is probably gonna be one of my bets. So we're gonna go to the Washington football team, which I've heard potentially the Admirals. We'll find out February 2nd. For all
Exciting.
Those interested, head to Joe Judge-led Giants, which everybody wants to come back and play for.
Chase Young is only coming back next year if he can play for the Giants. I heard. Otherwise, he's going to blow out his other knee.
You kind of threw me off there. That's bold by Chase Young. But I in this game I will take the football team. I know Taylor Heinicke. Jesus, I can't talk. Heinicke's playing. All right, I like Washington in this game.
Yeah,
Is this where you go Giants? Try to get one up here.
No, give me the football team.
Okay,
I can't go for the Joe Judges. I don't want to play for him.
Potentially Trey Lance led San Francisco 49ers, who looked okay last week, right?
Even though Jimmy G was thrown in practice today.
So, hey, listen.
Lobs.
Yeah, right. Just quacking ducks. Had what is it, SoFi Stadium and take on the pick six Stafford Rams. Who do you like in this one?
Oh man, give me the Rams.
I hate that. I'm going to take the Rams too. I hate the Rams. All right. Next, we're going to go to the Sam Darnold, Cam Newton led Panthers, who travel to the Antonio Brown-less Buccaneers down in Tampa.
Speaking of Antonio Brown, breaking news, he just released a statement from his attorney at Sean Burston on Twitter. I am going to retweet it. So at Somerville CLE, if you want to read it, basically stating what happened last week. But go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you again.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm gonna pull that tweet up now as well. Anyway, do you give Carolina any chance at all to win this game? What's the playoff implications in this one? Do you have it in front of you? Does Tampa need to win this game?
Tampa's.
Oh Jesus! I mean, this is like, you ever seen the meme where like with this Antonio Brown thing? It's like, I ain't reading all that shit. Sorry what happened, or I'm real happy for you. Like, that's kind of where I'm at.
Listen, when I opened that tweet up and when I saw that was there, I was going to read it. And then I'm like, I'll just retweet it and let people go. Tampa Bay, they've clinched the NFC South Division. Let's see what can go on with them. Nothing changes for them based on that. Carolina already out. So give me Tampa to still win because I think Tom Brady wants to play. And I think he will. So
I agree. This is gold, by the way.
Yeah. I read about half of it in the stop.
Yeah. All right. Sorry to the people. Zach Wilson, who looked better, New York Jets head to Buffalo to take on, at times, is a sloppy Buffalo Bills offense. Who you like in this game?
I like Buffalo because with a win, they can clinch the AFC East Division title, or New England needs to lose, and then they need to tie, possibly, to win.
Spread 16 points.
Yeah, it should be Buffalo. Buffalo needs this, but Buffalo, man, we've talked about them all year. They're a dome team playing outside, but give me Buffalo.
Yeah, it really doesn't make a lot of sense where they play and the style they play.
No.
Next, the New England Patriots head down to Miami. And here's my question to you is can you throw out the Patriots playoff scenarios in this game for me?
New England
it
clinches.
Looks like they have to win. I mean, they don't have to win to make the playoffs, but it looks like this game's meaningful just based off the spread.
It is because they can clinch the AFC's number 1 seed by winning, Buffalo, KC, and Tennessee losing, which probably doesn't happen.
No.
But with Buffalo losing or tying, they can clinch the AFC East. They need to win this game. But for Miami, it's even more important because they got to show that they're not the shitty team we saw last week. They got no playoff implications
are,
at
though,
this point.
bro. They are.
I know they
just beat a bunch of shitty teams, and then they played a real team, and they got their ass kicked.
Is Flores good enough to keep at this point? Or are they just always – is he the black Jeff Fisher? Where he's going to get them to about 8-8, 9-8, whatever, and just they're going to be average. Because even when they look like they're going to suck, they get to just about average.
I think that's kind of where they're at. I think he's retained for another year.
I mean, I'd give it to him. We were high on this guy too, and now it's just like
no. I just think, if you watch the Dolphins, Tua's got a lot of issues, man. It's a lot of Tua issues. The offensive line isn't great, but Tua, I know you can tell you can run we had 90% completion percentage, and like they were playing shit teams, and he throws it a yard.
Mm-hmm.
So I have serious concerns about Tua.
He's got the Ben Roethlisberger game in him right now.
Exactly,
everything's short.
Which isn't how you start your career; it's how you end it. It's
just wait until he's 48 like Roethlisberger and chucking half yarders out there.
So I will take the Patriots in that one. Next, the potentially Russell Wilson's last game in Seattle.
Crazy.
We'll have to see. Pete Carroll's like 106. He's like Betty White. How long does he last?
Like in life or as a head coach?
No, in life.
Comparing him to Betty White, he just died.
That's my bit tonight. I'm just doing that. Seattle travels to Arizona. Cardinals big win last week.
Yes, it was.
Embarrassing losses in the 2 weeks prior. DeAndre Hopkins being out, certainly a concern. Kyler Murray does not look like the same quarterback. Clearly, this game means something for Arizona. It does not mean something for Seattle.
Nope.
Who do you like in this one?
Arizona wins. The Rams lose. Arizona wins the division. It's a big game for the Cardinals. After losing these few games where they started out hot and we all thought, wow, they're really, really good. They need to win this and hope the Rams lose. I'm going to go with the Cardinals, but I think your team showed how to beat this team. And people got to follow that Dan Campbell game plan. Give me the Cardinals.
We do that 2.5 out of 17 weeks.
Yep.
All right. I'll take Arizona as well. I mean, I've been on the Arizona wagon for a long time.
You have been.
Like, I look like a genius, and then I was like, oh, shit. And it's kind of coming back to earth.
I'm like, come back.
Yeah, I'm like,
lose all your games.
You were making me look good, but not anymore. All right, so we'll go with New Orleans. Heading to Atlanta. Two bad football teams here, in my opinion. New Orleans, just their offense is so inconsistent, as can be said for Atlanta. Yep. Kyle Pitts, I believe, has the opportunity to set some sort of tight end record this week. That's a great job by me. Do you like New Orleans or do you like Atlanta?
Man, this is tough. I feel like if New Orleans had a good quarterback, they're a 12-win football team. Right now, they're sitting at 8-8. They need to win and hope the Rams beat the Niners, and they're in the playoffs. They could be the 7th seed in the playoffs with Taysom Hill as your starting quarterback.
Which is kind of a likely scenario, in my opinion. Right?
And, yeah, I think it happens. I think, give me them. Give me New Orleans. And don't forget that Kevin James plays Sean Payton in a movie coming out on Netflix at some point. I totally forgot about it until just right now.
Paul Blart.
Yes, Paul Blart is Sean Payton.
And we head to our final game of the week on Sunday.
Wait, who are you taking in that game? Are you taking New Orleans or Atlanta?
Oh, shit, I'm sorry. Let's keep moving on. Give me New Orleans.
All right.
I'm not used to being in the driver's seat. All right. And the last game, this is Sunday Night Football from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. The Justin Herbert-led Chargers, who have really
Herbert Hive.
really been up and down, right? If we think about it, a really nice start to the season. Since then, lots of question marks surrounding them. They get Austin Eckler back last week. They head to Las Vegas, where they meet a team where, listen, man, the Raiders can play a little. And the thing is, I'm pretty certain there's extreme playoff implications in this game.
There is. Chargers win or tie, they're in. The Raiders win or tie with an Indianapolis loss, or an Indianapolis loss, a Pittsburgh loss, and tie, they can get in. Basically, win and you're in. Just do it. Just win. Who you like?
Yeah, I'll take the Chargers.
Taking the Chargers?
Yeah.
Man,
I think Derek Carr deserves some respect for the season he had.
He does. He should get, if you're doing MVP votes for second and third place, maybe you might drop him a third place vote because what he's done this year with everything around that team. And hey, Rod, release the emails. But anyway, we're losing the head coach with everything going on with Henry Ruggs being a dipshit, with the fact that you just had another player busted for DUI, Nate Hobbs.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, with everything going on around this team, to still be in playoff contention, to keep enough mindset to go onto the field every week and get a dub, props off to you. Rich Bisaccia, I always say don't hire the interim, but he definitely deserves a shot for keeping this team together. I think the Cinderella turns into a pumpkin now, and it's over. Give me the Chargers in this one.
All right. I like it.
I need to make up some games, and I think we picked mostly the same. Let me see what we did here. Well, fuck, I think we picked every game the same except for Dallas and Philadelphia. So, yeah, I could make up one game based on an asterisk and that game won't even count.
Oh, it will. I mean, I think Dallas. Can't change it now.
And with that being said, let's move on to Ward's wagers. Dude, you're 33-20 against the spread this season. Doing pretty damn good. Who you got for us this week?
Yeah, listen, hey, we'll always take that. I'm actually going to start in Detroit. And take the Lions getting 3.5 points. I do think there's potential Jared Goff plays this weekend. He was practicing today in a limited capacity. Again, the resurgence of Amon-Ra St. Brown has been fantastic. DeAndre Swift seems to be healthy. I will take the Lions and the points there. And I will go to another NFC North battle here. I will take the Minnesota Vikings minus 3.5 at home against the Bears.
The Bears.
Next game I'm looking at, and I think this is going to be my last. Well, I will take the Chargers on the road minus 3. Will be my last game.
What is the spread currently if you have it?
I'm sorry. The Chargers game?
No, you said minus 3 on that one, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it is.
On the national title game, is Georgia still a favorite? They were.
Oh, let me take a look real quick. I got everything pulled up in front of me here.
Figure I can pull it up, but you're better with that. So
I got it. I got this big giant ass monitor next to me now. We're doing things.
What size monitor is that over there?
Large.
I know it's the widescreen. I'm looking at my little 19-inch next to my laptop, and I'm like,
if you were to think of like a big gulp, it's kind of like a big gulp.
All right, cool.
It's or like delicious. It's like a Polar Pop size of monitors. All right, and still play football, and all right. Here we go. It is Georgia's still favored.
Wow.
By a field goal.
How do you feel on that? I know we both picked Georgia to win by about a field goal.
I almost think it should be a pick'em game.
That's where the
spread goes. But I think a field goal is so. If I was a bettor and I was making a bet, I would pay to up the spread to 3.5. If I was a Georgia fan, because I think it could be a field goal game, right? I do think that we're kind of there with this game.
Yep.
So if I had to pay a little bit to lower my odds to pay that extra 0.5 up, I think it's probably valuable at this point.
It definitely is, considering we didn't know the spread at that time. My score was 23-19, Georgia, 4-point spread. Yours was 27-24, 3-point spread.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're right there.
And I think, and we probably are going to be wrong, but that's what we think, so we'll see.
I just hope it's a damn good game, is what it comes down to.
I think it will be. I mean, the two semifinal games were garbage.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. They usually are. I mean, we haven't really had very many good games in the semifinals, which is why I know a lot of people say, oh, then this is why we shouldn't extend the playoffs. But you extend the playoffs, you're going to get more good games. You're going to have fun. And eventually the top two teams will weed themselves out, as they always do. Now, as we're talking NCAA football here, I do want to slide in the Kirk Herbstreit talk about players not loving the game anymore and video games for big reason. Why not? And whatever, and blame video games and what that. What are your feelings about players skipping out on some bowl games?
I think that players at this point are making business decisions to where 20 years ago that wasn't the case. But you also have to understand the game's way more lucrative at the next level than it was 20 years ago.
Yep.
So I think that if I'm playing in the Duke's Mayo Bowl, then I'm probably just going to sit that out. If I'm in any bowl outside of the college football playoff, I'm going to sit it out. Because there's no benefit for me. I mean, unless you go and absolutely dominate the game, there's way too many scenarios where it hurts you more than it helps you. And then, of course, if you get injured, then it's even worse, right? So I think it's a business decision. I don't think you can say that they don't love the game as much as a different generation or whatnot.
No, and if you're going to let the coaches dip out on the games, you should let the players.
Yeah, exactly.
100% with you. I mean, did you watch any of the North Texas Bowl or the Texas Bowl last night with LSU and Kansas State?
Oh, there was a football game last night?
Yeah.
Why was there a football game last night?
Half people didn't even know it existed. So that's on you, NCAA, to do a better job of marketing.
Why would they play on January 4th?
Because there was no football that night. That was it. I mean, it made no sense. But, yeah, NCAA, if you extend the playoffs, then you give these kids more to play for. And you're only losing out on the guys who you know are top 20 picks. And what sucks is two probable top 20
Wait, did
picks.
Brian Kelly coach?
No, he did not. He was up in the booth, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Tyler Linderbaum.
Why the hell would you have a game after the college football playoff games?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Because they're like, hey, let's be cool. Let's everyone watch this game because it's the only thing. But when you look at this, you had two top 20 possible picks get hurt in the bowl games. Matt Corral, the quarterback for Ole Miss, hurt his ankle. And Tyler Linderbaum, the center, who hasn't even said he's coming out for Iowa, who was probably a top 10 pick. The guy's that damn good. He hurt his ankle as well. I mean, for some of these guys, if you know you're a top 2-round pick, you probably are better off sitting out in some of these games. If you're not and you have a chance to really ball out, then do so. But, yeah, I'm with you on that. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here tonight?
No, brother. It was good to be back.
It was definitely good to be back. And for all those who watch, listen, whatever, hit us up on Twitter at Somerville CLE, at Detroit Dave 7. Remember, you can watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You can catch the re-air anytime on any of those channels by going there and finding them, searching Full Coverage Football Show. You can find us in the podcast version anywhere you get your pods, including, as you see on your screen right here, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Pods. Before we get out of here tonight, don't forget to check out our boy at Detroit Beastie on Twitter. He was going to be with us tonight, didn't pop on. He has always got an open invite to stop on anytime he wants to. Check out Bottom of the Barrel. Interesting article this week because you got a former top-round pick and a first-round pick popping on there, Bottom of the Barrel, in former Minnesota Vikings first-round pick at wide receiver. I won't give away who it is. Check it out on teamriserfall.com. Check us out here next Wednesday, 8 p.m., Check out Drew at Detroit Dave 7. You back to golf?
Back to golf. It's the first week back. Right. We're in Maui, baby.
And with that, as always, remember, if you live the life you love the life you live. Night, kids. Have a good one.